The rain hammered the windshield like accusatory fists as Jake slammed open the door of his best friend Mark's beat-up Chevy, the metallic tang of betrayal already thick in his throat. He'd come to borrow the car for a surprise date with Sarah. His Sarah, the woman whose laughter had pulled him from the abyss of his father's death 2 years ago. But there, tangled in the passenger seat crevice like a discarded secret, glinted her silver bracelet, the one engraved with their initials intertwined, the one she'd whispered was her promise chain. Jake's fingers trembled as he snatched it up, the cool links burning his skin. Flashes hit him. Mark's lingering hugs at parties, Sarah's flushed cheeks after late nights at work, the way they'd both avoided his eyes last week. The world tilted, nausea rising like bile. He crushed the bracelet in his fist until blood welled from his palm, a vow etched in crimson. They would pay. Not with words, not with tears, but with everything they held dear. The storm outside paled against the one igniting in his chest, a fury that would consume them all. Jake didn't sleep that night. The bracelet lay on his nightstand like a venomous spider, its twisted silver mocking him under the dim lamp. By dawn, the pain in his hand had dulled to a throb, but the ache in his gut was a living thing, gnawing deeper with every breath. Sarah's texts buzzed incessantly. "Where are you? Miss you already." Each one a fresh stab, twisting the knife of her lies. He deleted them all, his thumb smashing the screen until it cracked. Mark's call came next, casual as ever. "Dude, keys are under the mat. Don't scratch her up." Jake's laugh was a bark, hollow and sharp. He wanted to scream into the phone, to shatter the illusion with the truth he'd unearthed. But no, words were for cowards. Revenge was for kings. The first weeks blurred into a haze of calculated silence. Jake quit the garage job he shared with Mark, citing family reasons. But really, it was to sever the ties that bound him to the traitor. He watched from afar, parking his truck across the street from their apartment complex, noting the rhythm of their deceit. Mark's truck pulling in late, Sarah slipping out the back door with her overnight bag, the guilty glances they exchanged like shared cigarettes. Each sighting fueled the fire, but it also hollowed him out. Meals turned to ash in his mouth, sleep fled, chased by visions of their bodies entwined, Sarah's moans echoing Mark's name. His mother noticed first, her lined face creasing deeper as she set plates at the dinner table. "You're fading away, son," she'd say, her voice cracking like old leather. Jake would force a smile, but inside, the burden pressed like a stone on his chest. "Just work stress, Ma." He'd lie, knowing the truth would shatter her. Mark had been like a son to her, fixing her leaky roof last summer without a word. The internal war raged fiercest in the dead of night. Pacing his cramped bedroom, Jake gripped a kitchen knife, imagining the weight of it in his hand as he confronted them. Justice screamed for blood, Sarah's pretty neck, Mark's smug grin sliced open, but destruction whispered temptations darker still, arson on their shared dreams, poison in their wine. One evening, after tailing them to the local diner, he cornered a shadowed booth, fists clenched under the table. They sat across the room, heads bent close, her hand on his knee. The waitress, old Mrs. Hargrove, chatted obliviously, but Jake's vision tunneled. He could stride over, smash the bracelet on their table, watch their world crumble in public humiliation. His heart pounded, sweat beading on his brow, a precipice between calculated ruin and mindless rage. Not yet, he growled to himself, storming out into the chill autumn air. Destruction would come, but on his terms, a masterpiece of misery that left scars deeper than flesh. The pursuit rippled outward, poisoning everyone it touched. His sister, Lena, confronted him after he snapped at her over a borrowed tool. "You're not you anymore, Jake. It's like that bracelet swallowed your soul." She was right. The obsession had turned him feral, snapping at coworkers, ghosting old friends. At the mill where he now hauled lumber, whispers followed him. Rennick's gone cold. Lost his girl, lost his mind. But Jake didn't care. Isolation was armor. One night, drunk on cheap whiskey, he confided in his Uncle Ray, the town drunk with a rap sheet for bar fights. "They took everything, Uncle. I gotta take it back." Ray's eyes gleamed, war stories spilling like bile. "Revenge ain't a sprint, boy. It's a marathon of maggots. Eats you from the inside while you smile." Jake nodded, but the words only steeled him. He began small sabotages, anonymous tips to Mark's boss about stolen parts, slashing Sarah's tires under cover of night. Each act was a bomb, but temporary, the void refilled with darker plans, the weight bending his spine. Months ground on, winter's grip mirroring the frost in his veins. Jake's reflection stared back gaunt, eyes sunken like pits. The bracelet, rest-strung and worn on a chain around his neck, became a talisman, its weight a constant reminder. He dreamed of the endgame, their empire of lies reduced to rubble. But doubt crept in rare moments, not as mercy, but as a cruel tease. What if the fall was too swift, denying him the slow savor? No, he shoved it down. The town buzzed with rumors of his breakdown, but Jake moved like a ghost, plotting in shadows. His mother fell ill from the stress, her coughs echoing his isolation, yet even that only sharpened his resolve. They had stolen his heart. He would steal their futures. The poison spread, but Jake drank deepest, thriving in its burn. Spring thawed the ground, but Jake's heart remained permafrost. The bracelet's chain bit into his skin as he hammered nails into pine beams at the mill, each strike a metronome to his unraveling. 9 months since the discovery, and the betrayers' lives had bloomed in ignorant bliss. Mark promoted to foreman, Sarah flaunting a diamond ring that mocked Jake's engraved promise. He'd seen it on her finger during a stakeout, the sparkle like salt in his wounds. The internal tempest peaked that night in his truck, engine idling outside their glowing window. Silhouettes danced, her head on his shoulder, his arm possessive. Justice demanded equilibrium. They had gutted him, so he would eviscerate them. But the edge blurred. Would exposing their affair in a viral town scandal suffice? Or must he torch their home, watch flames lick the life they built on his ruins? His hands shook on the wheel, breath ragged, the precipice yawning wider. Burn it all. Destruction hissed, visions of sirens and screams intoxicating. Yet justice clawed back. Make them suffer as he had, alone and aching, reputations in tatters. He drove away, tires screeching, the decision crystallizing like ice. Total annihilation, piece by merciless piece. The web tightened, ensnaring the innocent. Lena distanced herself after Jake's outburst at family Easter, hurling a plate when she mentioned Sarah's name. You're poisoned now, she spat, tears carving tracks down her cheeks. His mother, bedridden with pneumonia exacerbated by his brooding silences, whispered pleas from her sickbed. Let it go, Jake. For me. Her frail hand on his ignited a flicker, not of pity, but fury at their crime's collateral. Mark's family felt it too. Jake anonymously leaked doctored photos to the local paper, insinuating the foreman's side hustles with shady suppliers. Mark's father, a deacon, suffered a stroke from the shame, the church pews emptying as whispers turned to condemnations. Sarah's sister, once Jake's confidant, lost her job at the florist when Jake spread rumors of her complicity. Guilt? Fleeting shadows, drowned in the symphony of their downfall. The town murmured. Rennick's curse touched everyone. Jake savored the isolation it bred, a throne of thorns where he reigned unchallenged. The turning point came not as revelation, but as accelerant, a raw, unexpected truth that poured gasoline on his blaze. Burglarizing Mark's garage under moonless skies, Jake unearthed a box of mementos. Love letters from Sarah, dated months before the betrayal, and a paternity test confirming Mark as father to the child she carried. The papers crinkled in his grip, the ink a death sentence. Not just an affair, a premeditated theft of his future, his family. Rage crested, a tidal wave crashing internal dams. No more half measures. This truth was the forge for his final forge. He pocketed a locket of Sarah's hair, a trophy to fuel the inferno. Questioning peace? Absurd. This only proved vengeance was the only absolution, a blade to carve out the rot. The climax erupted on the eve of their wedding, the town square festooned for the farce. Jake had orchestrated the masterpiece. Hacked emails exposing their lies to every inbox, fabricated evidence of embezzlement pinned on Mark, and a timed gasoline trail leading to their reception tent. As vows droned under strung lights, chaos ignited, sirens wailing as flames devoured decorations, guests fleeing in pandemonium. Jake emerged from shadows, bracelet dangling like a noose. You built this on my bones, he roared, shoving the paternity papers into Mark's face amid the smoke. Sarah crumpled, rings slipping into the dirt, her screams lost in the roar. Mark lunged, fists flying, but Jake sidestepped, delivering a haymaker that split his lip, years of brotherhood reduced to blood. The crowd encircled, phones capturing the spectacle, the jilted groom unmasked, the bride's belly a damning swell. Fists flew in the melee, accusations shattering the night. Jake stood amid the wreckage, chest heaving, the fire's glow illuminating his triumph. No mercy in his eyes, only the cold satisfaction of symmetry. In the aftermath, the town reeled, headlines screaming Betrayal Inferno, Rennick's Reckoning. Mark jailed for fraud, Sarah shunned, child born to whispers. Jake vanished into the hills, the bracelet melted into a dagger's hilt. The cost? His soul's husk, relationships ashes, but the void filled with vindication's echo. Revenge had hollowed him, yet in its echo, he found a savage rebirth, unbroken, unbowed. The pursuit of revenge carves a path of isolation and ruin, where victory tastes of ashes, reminding us that while it may right the scales, it forever tips the balance of one's own humanity into shadow. Moral of the story: in the flames of vengeance, the avenger becomes both executioner and the damned, forever chained to the ghosts they sought to bury.